Today we're talking about the Owlin. The Owlin is the one and only race to be released in the last book of the year, Strixhaven's Curriculum of Chaos. Originally debuting as the Owlfolk all the way back in March of this year, this avian alternative to the Aarakocra is bound to turn some heads. But is it balanced? Is it inspired? Welcome back to the Wintry Wyvern, let's go ahead and find out. Distant kin of giant owls from the Feywild, Owlin come in many shapes and sizes, from petite and fluffy to wide-winged and majestic. Owlin have arms and legs like other humanoids, as well as wings that extend from their back and shoulders. Like owls, Owlin are graced with feathers that make no sound when they move or fly, making it easy for them to sneak up on you in the library. Your Owlin character might be nocturnal, or perhaps your character is simply prone to rise later, embodying the common nickname of Night Owl. The first playable Owlfolk race appeared in the Tales of the Wee Folk supplement for D&D Basic, called the Hsiao. The Hsiao were often mistaken for giant owls in the Feywild thanks to their broad wings, and constantly sought the knowledge of their surroundings and beyond, whether it be a focused study or an open mind to the wide vastness of interplanar philosophy. This studiousness is carried over to the university setting of Strixhaven, where they can be largely found gliding through libraries preparing for their next exams. The lore on the Owlin is a bit scarce, likely to allow DMs to fill in the blanks wherever their setting seems fit. We'll get the standard features out of the way, 3 ability score points to split between 2 stats or 3, 2 languages common and 1 more of your choice, average height and weight, and an average century lifespan. Owlin are entirely humanoid. Perhaps Fey and Beast creature typing might have worked here, but I'm assuming the former didn't fit the setting, and the latter would make them a messy wild shape option. You can be medium or small, a choice we've seen before in the Herongon, the same UA, formerly known as the Rabbit Folk, and the Gothic lineages Dampier, Hexblood, and Reborn. Regardless of your chosen size, your movement speed is the typical 30 feet. Now to the good stuff. An Owlin's dark vision reaches 120 feet, twice the distance of most night-ready races. The range is typically called Superior Dark Vision, and is shared by only 3 other races all found in the Underdark, the Duergar Dwarf, the Drow Elf, and the Deep Gnome. Without the debilitating caveat of sunlight sensitivity, this makes the Owlin a really fantastic scout for dungeons and daylight alike, mirroring the talents of the owl familiar so widely relied upon by book-wielding wizards. The next feature is flight. Thanks to your wings, you have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. You can't use this flying speed if you're wearing medium or heavy armor. This is the point where we make the most obvious comparison to the Aarakocra, which boasts a 50-foot fly speed right from the jump. While the Owlin's predecessor is clearly the more powerful character option, it's also a point of contention for a lot of DMs that enjoy running low-level adventures, in which the flight combined with the blistering speed invalidates a great many beginner fights and puzzles. The Owlin's flying speed is much more reasonable, and I'd recommend it any day of the week as an alternative to D&D's fastest flyer. You are limited to light armor or no armor, which narrows down a number of optimal class options, but I think the utility of flight more than makes up for the trade-off. The last feature is Silent Feathers. You have proficiency in the stealth skill. A simple benefit but a useful one, and one you can't really go wrong with. There's all but guarantees that the Owlin makes for an amazing scout, cruising through the skies as quiet as the wind itself. I think this is a great time to bring up what the Owlin used to look like, back in the Folk of the Feywild UA. One of the big things cut out of its lore and its stat block is their affinity to magic, losing the ability to detect magic as a ritual spell. The second big cut is the nimbleness of its flight. Owlfolk used to be able to use their reaction to prevent falling out of the sky when knocked prone. During the playtest survey, one of the biggest criticisms of the Owlfolk was its ability to negate one of the only true weaknesses of flight, the risk of falling. Their one improvement from the UA was a bit more dark vision, from 90 feet to 120. Now, these changes, while they may be warranted, do strip a bit of the uniqueness away from the third bird race. With what it has left, it certainly fills a very specific niche, a sneaky flyer that can navigate dangerous dark spaces with grace and finesse. Playing a ranger, rogue, or wizard pairs pretty perfectly with the natural talent of avoiding conflict, and discerning the situation before diving in. As for me, I'm happy enough with it. I do miss the huge blocks of lore that would paint a clearer picture of their dispositions, culture, and naming conventions, but I suppose the design team believes that the backlash of, pardon the pun, pigeonholing a race's tendencies isn't worth the trouble. It's solid. Not bad, not broken, but almost boringly plain and practical. Not my most glowing review, but I'm more than happy to point my avian-leaning players towards something that's not a living fighter jet, so it's good in my book. Thanks for watching, shoutouts to Fry Minis as always for the inside scoop. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, yada yada. There's a couple more cool things in the Strixhaven book, and I'd love to hash them out with you in particular. Yes, you. May your Owlin be ever intelligent, your feathers always faintly fluttering, and above all, stay frosty.